Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Ru, low, low, low.
And if the map looks funny, guys, do not attempt to adjust your sets. We are back on the Western Front, leaving the East behind with a nice little tournament replay from a couple weeks ago. I think it was a Christmas Cup. Is that
Yep,
right, Rang? Awesome.
indeed.
Well, guys, looking back to that thin map, that airplane map known as Carpiquet, Rang, who do we have? What's going on?
Oh, on left hand side in blue, we have Solar Ring Pixy playing as 2nd French Armor Division, and Harry Spider playing as Festung Gross Paris. And yeah, so this is from the Christmas Cup, which happened, well, just before Christmas. And it's pretty much just a back to SC4 one-day tournament with, the classic divisions, the classic maps. And we got replay today and a replay for Thursday, covering SD44 again.
Exactly. And folks, actually, by the way, when most of you are watching this, well, before we get to the actual, Thursday, a very happy New Year to you all. So, but we're back to the whole controlling more than 51% of the territory. You see already, the second Blend Day, of course, as you guys kind of remember, surprisingly beefy for being a fairly light.
Yeah, they got like decent infantry and fire support early on, and same thing with Festung Gross Paris, if I can remember the name.
Yes.
Those Bavarians are a real pain in the ass to fight in the town. Harry Spider using a small 50mm mortar to great effect to try to suppress at a 50 cal half track. But yeah, it's really going to come down to just good light vehicle play and A-phase for both sides.
One thing's gonna be funny for me is just trying to figure out again and look at this and think, oh my god, these maps are so small.
I know. To put in perspective, guys, an ST44 map is like 2.5, 3 kilometers in width, and for the player's perspective, while an ST2 a map is like 7 to 8 kilometers in width. It's a bit ridiculous, the size difference.
Well, exactly, and not for nothing, but we can see already the crit system just being supremely different. We are going to see down south, there's one squad in is being forced into surrender, and you can kind of see, again, Carpiquet was never great in this northern side. We have very, very much a standoff there. We have a lot of play at the southern side, as you can see already.
Yeah, stories, much safer for both sides to try to fight over the cover of the town rather than the big open airfield. Of course, later on, if you get like some long-range tanks, you can usually do some pretty good work on the open ground airfield, but it's always a bit risky.
Well, I guess that's the question. Who's going to be better for looking at those wide open spaces?
Oh, it's kind of 50-50 between both. In terms of like
Yep.
raw firepower, it's technically Harry Spider because they got like Tiger or Panther here, yeah.
I would say Panther. I might be wrong on that, though.
Yeah, and then second you got 76 Shermans, which are also pretty good. What's also pretty good is just how Harry Spider, as you may have seen, has completely mopped up that town with great use of fire support, the infantry, and the Puma.
The funny thing, though, about this is that it's still technically going over here to Pixie because up north, all this is a single Panzer Shrek, which is not going to do a whole lot. But you do see another Bavarian squad's going to go up there to the north.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird to look at these trucks and be like, "Oh my God, which kind of infantry is it?" Without really knowing.
Yeah, you just kind of have to make a guess. God, it's so weird being back to SD44 after such a roll on SD2.
Exactly, but Rang, you know what? It brings back good memories.
Yeah.
This is how you and I met. So
Exactly. When we first started casting.
okay, actually, longer than a couple years ago at this point. But regardless, we do have a Stuart over here coming into the south. Going to cause quite an issue for that Puma, especially when you have the other M8 Spahi going in there as well. And these Pioneers, I forgot how beefy these guys are. I mean, flamethrowers were just supremely powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You see
close
already.
range.
Oh my God.
It was a
Thank. Oh yeah, jeez. I'm sorry. I would just thank God for that freaking mortar. Other than that, it would have been absolutely devastating.
hmm Yeah, the Puma's getting some good shots on, but the Greyhound manages to get a shooter wounded, and the Puma manages to back out just in the nick of time into a real precarious situation for both players, as neither side really wants to expose their tanks.
That's true, but the Bavarians are sliding in and perhaps around the Stuart.
Oh,
Gonna be gutsy. I'm not sure it's going through the orchard's a really good idea, especially with the half tracks coming in, but we'll see. Maybe. There we go. It's up. Oh my God, they got just in time. And they got a quick surrender. That was brilliant. Well done, Harry
Surrenders them
Spider.
in a pocket of all things. And then the pocket closes right up. That is
But the steward's
perfect
gonna
timing.
the steward's gonna take care of that pretty quick. Oh
Yeah.
wait, he's gonna lure the steward in. Oh my God, here comes. This is pro
Oh,
level
you
strats.
know, this isn't. Keep it back. Run away from the infantry.
Oh my God. Oh, that's right. This is back in the time of 150 meter anti-tank grenades.
Yeah, no, just 100 meters. But making 100
Oh,
meters in
thank you. Yep.
ST44 is definitely much easier. But real play of the game here so far, those Bavarians. Good God.
Well, and we don't have a Pinocchio here, but we do have the Panzerjäger 35R, and that guy, especially against the lighter tanks of, the second Blindé,
Hmm.
going to be quite powerful. And you can see right now we're going to see a 57 millimeter being brought on in an attempt to kind of keep them at arm's length, I would say.
Yeah, but even though Harry Spider's doing a really good job in the town fight, Solo Ring is still winning because of that northern advantage, and Harry hasn't really brought up much up here. He's got land shooting, he's bringing up some more infantry, I think another land shooting and another Panther Strike squad, but he really needs some armor. I mean, if we look from like Solo Ring, he's holding this northern front with like an Arave recon unit and just flamethrower guys.
That's true. I mean, he has lost the half track that was up there, so it is actually fairly consistent. Well, consistent is the wrong word, but it is a big loss because he has no real fire support. A lot of his troops are very up close and personal.
Yeah.
But I imagine once that gets cleaned up a little bit more, we are going to see something rather devastating. Oh, transmission damage, but the 57 millimeter is sitting behind. And yep, we're going to see a very... Oh! Doesn't get it out in time.
Yeah, that was a really tight shot, yeah. And the smoke was not enough to save him, just coming in a little bit too late. But
Well, you know what they say, smoking kills. So.
really does. Really does. And it also helps you get kills, hey.
Hey, that's true.
Yeah.
But you're about to say, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Solar Ring's been doing a pretty good job containing this breakout. I mean, he still has a, decent chunk of the town under his control. His main issue is that with the French, you don't have a lot of infantry in A phase. Once you get into B phase, you should have a bunch of those sapeurs, the guys with the bazookas and satchel charges, if I recall.
Yep.
And they should make pretty good short work of the town, if used efficiently.
That is entirely possible. We are going to see what's just a small column. Okay, yep, another kind of, let's call it the French Kampfgruppe, a Stuart, some more Nueves, and some Pioneers. Definitely going to be more than enough to contain, like you said, probably put the Stuart right where that half track is. That is actually, the Orchard's a great position for our armor in the southern side.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty good spot just for a small, Stuart tank spam.
It certainly is. And we're going to see the Pioneers now getting picked off, and that's going to be, oof,
Yep.
not wonderful.
But still, Solo Ring has the advantage. He's been gaining a decent amount of points throughout his A phase still. But as we're seeing in terms of momentum, it really does feel like Harry Spider is slowly pushing his way into it.
And that's
just not enough.
You kind of expect that actually out of Harry Spider for one, but also out of Festum Gros Paris. You're not looking for an explosive start. You're looking for that kind of steady build as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the income disparity, you do not get a lot of money A phase for strong. But once you get into B phase, you can start getting some more infantry, a few more tanks, proper fire support. Things start getting pretty good, and also you got the bloody J running 88 spam if you're feeling a bit cheesy.
Yes, but of course, that's because Harry Spider's running, Maverick income, so he's fine. So it's fine.
Right. Imagine not being able to pick your income choice, Khan. What primitive days it was.
I remember when there was there's a wish list for SD2, picking your own income, and I was like, that would just blow my mind. And they did that. I was like, what? Oh.
Yeah.
I also forgot how good these WC-52s really were. These guys are, they were very, very price efficient. Obviously not great in terms of, as fire support, they were really quite solid.
Yeah, it's cheap fire support transports, like half tracks and the WC were definitely much better in SD44 due to the smaller ranges. Well, in SD2, it's pretty hard to move a half track in an open field and not get killed by 20 45mm AT guns.
But that was the whole thing, though. I mean, like, you ended up getting... Wait, Aufklärer... Oh, the Aufklärer throwing grenades at this half-track. Oh my god, that would have been amazing.
Oh, I shouldn't have jumped out. He should have tried to kill the half track. Yeah. No,
And
look,
he
he jumps
back
out
in
and
the
the half
half-track.
track.
Oh my gosh.
Hit and run strategy, right? Yeah.
Well, how often did that actually happen? Like, it never had the opportunity to really reload your infantry back into the transport. It was either dead or you pretty much, well, you were dead.
Yeah.
But as we go into Phase B, of course, we are going to see some more infantry, like you said, coming out of here from Solo Wing Pixie. But what about Festung?
Yeah, you got more infantry, you got the Grease Marine guys, you got other things, which oh, you get the Russian troops. So you got, like,
Right.
you have pretty good infantry options in B phase for Festung.
Now, remind me, it's not the Italian Freiwillige, are they?
No, that's 7/16.
I could have sworn there was just more than just that, but fair enough. We are going to see this. Actually, this Stewart is, and he started in a very open position. I'm surprised he went that far north.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then that small little Pinocchio is gonna be picking them off.
Remember, guys, in SD-44, armor cost a heck of a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And as we are going to see a couple of Shermans being brought on in, as well as an off-map 155, gonna be a little bit strange here for me to kind of consider.
Yeah,
I
those
mean,
Shermans are gonna be pretty good, Joe.
yeah, I mean, and armor pen values, that kind of makes sense. It's not just a guessing game.
Yeah. When you can actually calculate it without, yeah, God,
Without a slide
I
rule and a
know.
protractor.
I mean, I understand like why they went for the system they did because people wanted a more like realism armor system. But by God, it was so easy in this game just to calculate if you could penetrate a tank or not.
Exactly.
You could do it with your fingers if it got desperate. And it did get desperate
Yes.
for me a few times.
I was just... Oh, man, never mind. We're going to see a TOT barrage coming in right in the middle of this town, which, shockingly enough, has not lost all the buildings around that intersection just yet, but don't you worry, that 155 is going to take care of that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to guess this bazooka team's going to take out the 35R. Oh
Goes
my...
in.
Whoa.
Whoa, buddy! Like, you can't mess with a Zook. What the hell?
Look,
You can
exactly. That's
reload,
just...
Joe.
It's not just not done, though. And what? It's up.
Well, I mean, one time is acceptable, but two times, like, I think he's maybe a little bit
Oh,
cross-eyed, yeah.
wait, here we go. He falls back in TOT barrage. Watch him go down from a 155.
It's all part of the plan.
Kansas City Shuffle.
Hmm.
Ugh. Shockingly enough, no death. But you know what? I kind of forgot about that with a lot of the French infantry, is that most of it, outside the Sapirs, not a ton of anti-tank on the squads themselves.
No, not really. It's really just... A lot of them are mostly either, like, good TQC infantry, or, yeah, it's really it.
It kind of sad when that's really what you're working with. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, either you're awesome at this or nothing.
Yeah, but they're very, like, specialized in just close quarters for the most part. And you're really just using them to screen for your tanks. You really have to play the light vehicle to most sort of second to get the most out of them.
And if you just saw one of those aircraft hangars, we saw the absolute devastation that is visited by all of those freaking M2HBs.
Oh yeah.
Poor Panhard, he's never gonna know his father.
Yeah, this is going pretty well for Solo. I do like how he's trying to hook around to town from the north and get into the airfield hangar. Now into B phase, he's still holding on to that +1 point advantage. And it seems like the momentum's going more into his favour now as he's dictating the battles.
Certainly seems to be the case, but he did lose his off map. He only was able to use 2 barrages, so
Oof.
missing a bit.
How did it die?
I think there's actually that southern Panzerjäger that you see.
Oh. Oh yeah, would you look at that? Very ballsy moving up the off map so far.
Actually, here's something interesting. We're seeing a northern push being set up here,
Mm-hmm.
backstopped by a Pack 40 and a Martyr. This infantry is going to be more than enough to sweep aside this French infantry, and despite the fact there's not a lot of armor to be seen, really from either side, I mean, Char M4 is going to cause an issue. But outside of that, there's not really anything within a kilometer or so.
Yeah, it's gonna actually go really well for Harry Spider if you can secure the airfield hangars in the northern part. It's usually a pretty tight area to hold on to, and it gives you a lot of ground. And also, this is ST-44. That Marder outranges the Sherman.
Yes, yes, that's
Oh,
certainly true, and especially if you look again, guys. That armor from the back is a mere 4.
hmm.
Voltigeurs, oh my gosh. I feel like some of the Allied infantry was still really quite strong in this game. And the Lendeschutz, it didn't help the Lendeschützen were just that terrible too.
Yeah, Landshutens are not good, man. Yeah, not good at all.
They're meant
Like
to be Landeshot.
Truppen, but worse.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah, for
funny because
now.
they're not disheartened.
Oh my god, please let's not get started on that.
Okay.
We do have the ROA came on in, and the ROA made the half-track DOA, and we're actually seeing another one here to the north, trying to push back these Voltigeurs. And despite the fact that in my mind there continues to be an Allied bias because of the whole M1 Garand being way stronger than their opposing, most of the Gaunts or K98s, um, when you outnumber them 3-1, it's a little bit difficult to really complain too much.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Northern Puss is getting into full effect from Harry Spider, and it's doing really good. It's managed to flip the tables, and Spider is putting some points on the board. And he's picking off the tanks, fighting the Sherman with the Panther 4. And oh no, I think the Sherman's gonna get a kill
Man.
actually. I know,
Stabilizers.
and the veteran she's helping out quite a bit.
Well, tracks and wheels destroyed.
Mhm. I don't think that middle push through the airfield hangar is gonna work out. The half tracks has completely shut that down, but the far northern push is gone pretty lovely for Harry Spider.
Now, if the Martyr Sherman, there's a chance.
Mhm.
But almost as devastating is if that ROA doesn't get forced truly back. I mean, he's taking fire right now from that 76 millimeter upgun. Um, this could be quite negative, to put it mildly.
Indeed, it could be. Yeah,
Ooh.
just looking at it, like also from Harry Spider is actually starting to push into the southern town now, and looking at it from Solo Ring's Pixie's view, he doesn't really have much infantry down here anymore.
No, in fact, he's trying to put a couple of Shermans into this town. Brave, a little bit foolish, but brave.
Mhm.
Also fascinating to see we actually have this one squad of infantry being brought to the north in an attempt to really backstop and kind of stop the push from coming in, as well as the M4A3 Abusier. So was it the 75 millimeter howitzer?
105.
105.
The big boom. That's definitely going to help out a lot of dealing with the infantry, and heck, it could kill the Marder. Oh, then the Pack 40. So that's actually a very good call-in. But really, he needs to kill out Marder.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a 1200 millimeter range.
Mhm.
I have to relearn all of these distances.
And then Yen will forget them next week.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't worry, we'll go back to ST2, guys. We're not going back to ST44. Just for the week, just to change things
Not
up.
too often anyway. It's nice. It's nice to go old school for a bit.
Mhm. Yeah, it's nice that the tournament did happen because ST44 is a really good game still.
Yeah, I mean we're not talking smart orders, but it did have its perks.
Yeah, yeah. The smart order system is, I think, yeah, it does really help out the game a lot.
Oh, it certainly does. And actually, if we're looking down south, yep, the tanks have realized that discretion is a better part of valor. And they back out of the town. And not knowing where any kind of anti-material is down here, they are pretty much forced to stay behind this tree line.
Yeah, Solo needs a lot more infantry down south and other fire support because Harry Spider just managed to flood that town with all his troops.
And when a single IG-18 shot just pins down a superior squad in just one shot, that's harsh.
It is pretty harsh indeed. But I think if Solo just uses his Shermans along the outskirts of the town, moving the infantry for fire support, he could probably make a play back into here. Harry Spider does have a sneaky Pack 40. He in a pretty terrible spot, line of sight rise, but he is now going to move it up, and I think it's going to be a dead Sherman or two.
Ooh, yeah, it's gonna get super close. This is gonna be brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else. There's still an ROA with 3 Panzerfausts, so all he's got to do is just minorly freak out that Sherman. Ooh,
Doesn't get the insta-kill, but...
he doesn't need to. Here it comes. And the ROA getting... Harry Spider was one of the best guys in this game. We're seeing again how good he and how talented he really was with that.
Just the absolute micro. Saw before with the Bavarian, and now the Pack 40 moving it back after it shoots. It's just some good play. SD44 is definitely, good micro, really makes or breaks it. Also up north, the 76 Sherman's actually killing the Pack 40. Same with the 105.
Yes, but the 105 I think is going to find picked off in a moment here. Oh, that was weird. Both fall back. Okay. Interesting call.
Damn it, Pack 40 is not dying. The 76 is trying to get a shot off. And then it's funny, the 76 really should be killing the Marder and the 105 should be trying to kill the Pack 40, but hey.
If that's the way they want to play it, it's the way they want to play it. And here's the big daddy. Here's the big Panther coming in. Panther G, like a G, coming towards the northern side of that approach. Pack 40 to the south, I think, is going to take out the other Sherman in about 2 shots, even as this next TOT barrage comes on in. Weapons jammed. It's going to be a dead Sherman.
Yeah, real good use of the Pack 40, getting some lovely kills.
Oof.
Yeah.
And this is the point where just second Blinde always seemed to fall out. This kind of got just outscaled.
Definitely seems so. The infantry spam you can pull out with Festung has really hindered Solar Ring from having too much of a foothold in the town. Also, it's also due to the fact that Harry Spider has been using these 50mm mortars extremely efficiently in this town. This is pretty much running all the infantry fights. Where the only artillery really been seen from Solo has just been off maps, when maybe some mortar half tracks or regular mortars would have helped tip the scales in this southern town fight.
That's true. Unfortunately, that minimal gun is flying so low for right now. Now, of course, like any good German commander, Harry Spider has to put the Russians on the front line to kind of soak up casualties. But they have been exceedingly effective.
Yeah, those RA troops are really good. More like a close quarters grenadier squad.
If only they had PPSHs.
They do. They're like 3 PPSHs.
Dadgum, you're right. I forgot about that. Yes, sir.
Like the first Russian infantry taste chat we got of Steel Division, because it's like all Russian apart from the fast battalion.
Good point. Now we have a 20mm coming on in. Yep, we have a 20mm coming on in from the north, and for some reason we have a Panther 40R that's been sitting there since almost the word go.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Maybe he's just like enjoying the French countryside.
Hey, I know I would. I mean, Carpet Cat seems like a lovely, lovely neighborhood.
I think that's why the Allies did D-Day to begin with. They just wanted a holiday.
Oh yeah, it's vacation, man. Get away from the kids. Get away from the wife. They're just like, you know what? Let's do this.
Exactly.
76mm gets picked off. I think that was courtesy of the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers now are just going to completely mop up the northern side. Another problem with the French, you don't really have good long-range AT to fight Panthers. Your highest AP value is 13, and with Panthers at 14, it can get a bit difficult. Harry Spider is kind of making the silly play of charging the Panthers without stopping them to shoot. And oh my god, that's an airplane.
Oh my god, the P-38s were just broken at points.
Yeah, I think this is a heavy bomber run, so it's going to be not a happy Panther.
That's fine, though. Kitten's got claws, and they know it. But 56, remember, guys, of course, when we get to 57... Oh, no, 58. Wow, 57 at launch. I always forget that. So 58% we'll see a +2 over here in relation to Harry Spider. And I think once we see that +2, we will probably see a tap.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of the fact that I think Solo Wing Pixie just kind of says, you know what, dude, I'm outscaled.
Yeah, at this point, he just does not have the stuff. He's been out-attritioned, so to speak. Which is a shame, because he was doing a very good job in that early game. But he just couldn't... He really needed that major breakthrough earlier on, get that early, +2 A phase score. Really bring it in.
Well, we're seeing right now we have a +2 over here for Harry Spider. There is nothing to be done to the northern side. And a lot of those tanks being picked off, well, it's going to cause a little bit too much of an issue for us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like a complete red tide up north as they crash along the blue shores.
I'm just watching this Beaufort just kind of loft rounds downrange at that poor ROA squad.
Mm-hmm.
Also funny to me, the Panther G was practically on top of these Spahis and decided not to engage anyone.
Oh. Yeah, Sparhy's is kind of in the middle of his invasion force. Like, should we do something? Now let's just stay in this bush.
Hey
Which
man,
I
I
don't
don't
blame
blame.
him.
Well, we're seeing right now, we see the Sapiras are like, okay guys, we'll defend this area. And now they just get completely blown out, so any second.
Remembering Panther G's cost 280 points. Oh god. Yeah, tanks were so expensive.
That is one thing I do not miss. That was brutal. But regardless, if we go +3, we've seen infantry on the northern side completely fold. We have one last 76mm being brought on in. It's got to be pretty much all Solo and Pixie can afford at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Another tank is forced to bail out, and here comes, okay, surrender. I'll probably see a dead half track moving west, but I mean, if you lose that, big deal. The +4, yep, and Solo and Pixie taps out. Taking a look overall, yeah, that's the tail of the tape right there.
Yep.
2,400 to 1,200.
And I'm guessing a lot of that is towards the end. Yeah, he kind of just lost everything towards the end. Looking
But
at
that early
kills.
Puma, Hoffman, getting 4 kills right there, I won't say he was instrumental, but he was certainly quite important to that early defense. And oh my gosh, Schneckenberger.
Oh god. Oh, jeez, yes. Half-track killer, real ice cold. And the Marge did pretty good. Also, we had a Bavarian squad early on. Anton that's a pretty good Bavarian squad.
Well, again, guys, just remember in SD44, having half tracks meant that you had an absolute fantastic, let's say, standoff support weapon, especially from the ally side of things.
Yeah, half-tracks were bloody fantastic. What does Bavarians mean again?
I don't recall, but I'm sure someone will remind me, and
Yes.
I'll take a look after this video. So if nothing else, guys, if no one tells us by Thursday, I'll make a comment myself on Thursday for that. And with that in mind, actually, this is the last cast of the year, so at least
Oh
I
my
know for
god.
me, I'm sure Rang will say the same thing. Guys, it's been another great year spending time with you, Rang, and as we go into 2020, well, all the best for you guys.
Indeed, indeed. It's been a good bloody year.
It has been, and hopefully some more bloody stuff to be seen on Thursday in the new year. So until then, guys, I'm Connor Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo, take it easy.